Have you ever looked at your canine companion and witnessed something that stills your mind? An act of intuition so profound it feels like a message from life itself. If so, you should understand this is not a simple coincidence. You are observing a great unfolding, a quiet shift spoken of in wisdom traditions for ages. These traditions remind us that at certain moments in our collective journey, the veils between worlds become thin. It was foreseen that during such a time, our four-legged friends would step forward in a new way. It has been said that when the world enters a new state of being, these guardians will serve as living bridges. They will connect the tangible world we see with the unseen world of energy and spirit. They would be humble teachers, sent to remind humanity of what it means to love without condition. Ancient wisdom speaks of canines as natural antennas for the subtle currents of the universe. They are beings capable of perceiving energy, sensing shifts in the flow of events, and even facilitating comfort through their simple, steady presence. It's understood they possess intuitive faculties that humanity may have set aside over time, but that would be reawakened during a pivotal moment in our shared story. What is most remarkable is the clarity about when this transformation would become most apparent. It would begin when humanity itself faced unprecedented global challenges, shifts in our environment, rapid changes in how we connect, and a widespread turn towards inner exploration. Within this understanding, three distinct waves of this awakening were described. The first would be the capacity to sense illness and feel future events before they physically manifest. The second would involve a direct, heart-to-heart communication with their human companions. The third, and most transformative, would see them become true harmonizers of energy, able to calm agitated spaces and soothe deep emotional wounds. As one sage expressed long ago, when humanity becomes linked by invisible threads, the dogs will awaken to their deeper purpose. They will not simply be animals we care for. They will be conscious partners in the elevation of the human spirit. What makes this insight so moving is the idea that many of these souls have chosen to walk this path with us, that they have chosen to be born into animal forms to assist in this great shift of human awareness. These are beings of profound purity, disguised as your loyal friend. The critical point is this: we are not speaking of a far-off time. We are describing what is unfolding now, in this very breath. The signs predicted by ancient wisdom are manifesting all around us with increasing clarity. Dogs that sense illness before any instruments can. Companions that offer comfort at the precise moment it is needed, even across distances. Animals that seem to effortlessly cleanse a room of heavy feelings. Instances of silent, intuitive understanding between dogs and their people. None of this is by chance. It is the blossoming of an ancient truth before our very eyes. The only question is, are you open to seeing that your companion may be far more than you have ever imagined? Once you begin to perceive through this lens, you will never look at your four-legged friend in the same way. The great canine awakening is here, and if you observe with a quiet mind, you will likely see it happening within your own home. Let us explore this unfolding. The deepest wisdom traditions speak of a time when these four-legged guardians would awaken to a new capacity. An insight from long ago suggests, when the earth finds a new rhythm, the dogs will become living bridges between worlds. They are not merely pets, but quiet teachers of unconditional love and connection. That ancient understanding illuminated three stages of this awakening. The first stage was foreseen to coincide with a great turning of human consciousness, a period we have now entered. In this phase, dogs would begin to demonstrate abilities to soothe and even perceive illness, often before conventional methods could. The second stage would be even more profound. These companions would begin to establish direct, intuitive communication with the people they live with, responding to a thought before a word is spoken. They would appear exactly when their human counterparts require emotional stillness, as if guided by an unseen wisdom. The third, most powerful stage would reveal dogs as true harmonizers of their environment. They would possess the innate ability to pacify negative energies within a home, a hospital, or even within a person experiencing deep inner turmoil. This was described as a form of spiritual alchemy, the power to transform difficult emotions into a state of peace by their calming presence. What makes this knowledge so compelling is the time from which it comes. Think of the world even a century ago, when dogs were seen primarily as workers or protectors. The idea that these beings could hold a deep spiritual or therapeutic role was beyond the thinking of that era. The ancient wisdom was even more specific. It taught that this change would affect all dogs, but that those who were rescued or adopted would feel this higher purpose even more intensely. It is as if the very act of being given a second chance connects them more deeply to their mission. During one such sharing of this wisdom, a truly stunning idea was put forth. It was said that many of the souls arriving as canines during this period of awakening would be highly evolved beings. They specifically chose an animal form to aid in the transformation of human consciousness. They are beings of light, living in our homes as our pets. This wisdom also carried a vital caution. Not all of humanity would be ready to perceive these changes. Many would dismiss these profound behaviors as instinct or mere coincidence. But for those with an open heart and a quiet mind, they would be able to form an extraordinary partnership with their canine companions. The most powerful aspect of this ancient teaching was its insight into the timing of this unfolding. The first signs would become clear when humanity faced intense global shifts, pandemics, ecological pressures, and vast technological change. This is the exact time we are living in now. If you share your home with a dog, you have likely noticed subtle changes in their ways in recent years. Perhaps they stay closer to you, become watchful before you arrive home, or show a new sensitivity to certain people or places. These are not isolated behaviors. They are the first ripples of a great wave of change manifesting right before you. Those who work closely with animals began to report a compelling pattern starting in the new millennium. Dogs that had always been placid began to display a level of intuition that standard explanations could not account for. One who has spent a lifetime studying animal behavior documented countless cases of dogs developing what he calls emotional resonance, the ability to sense their owner's inner state before it's expressed outwardly. One of the most touching accounts involves a woman from New Jersey. Her golden retriever, a gentle soul of 6 years, started acting strangely whenever she prepared to leave for her demanding job. The dog would physically block her path, whining softly, refusing to move. At first, she thought it was simple attachment, until she realized this only happened on days she was profoundly stressed or headed toward a difficult situation at work. It was as if he knew I needed to stay and tend to my own well-being, she shared. On the days he insisted I remain home, something significant always occurred that helped me re-center my priorities. I understood he wasn't being difficult. He was protecting my spirit. But the signs reach far beyond this emotional awareness. Centers of learning started documenting cases of dogs that could identify disease with startling precision. Not only cancer, but conditions affecting the body's balance, like diabetes, seizures, and even deep-seated sorrow. A story that touched many hearts was that of a 4-year-old Labrador. For 3 weeks straight, she began to obsessively nudge and sniff at her owner's left arm. He dismissed the behavior until his dog began to bark and gently scratch at the same spot. Out of concern, he visited a doctor and discovered a small growth that had been missed in his routine check-ups. The growth was precisely where his loving companion had been pointing. Animal shelters also began to observe remarkable changes. Dogs that were once overlooked started forming immediate, powerful connections with certain people who visited. It was as if they knew exactly which human soul was in need of their specific gift of companionship. A shelter coordinator shared, Wong began to see the dogs choosing their people, not the other way around. They would walk directly to individuals going through hardship, a divorce, a loss, and illness. It's like they have a compass that points directly to the heart that needs unconditional love most. Another telling sign has been the dramatic increase in certified therapy dogs across the world. In the decade between 2010 and 2020, the number of dogs trained for emotional support grew exponentially. But what truly captured the attention of specialists was that many of these animals began showing therapeutic qualities naturally, long before any formal instruction. Hospitals noted that visiting dogs could identify patients who were in greatest need of their presence. They would bypass people who were stable and walk directly to the bedsides of those facing critical moments in their healing. Caretakers began to see this canine intuition as another way to identify patients needing special attention. Research centers that study animal behavior documented that dogs started to react to storms, earthquakes, and other natural shifts with greater and greater warning. Where they once showed restlessness hours beforehand, some dogs now alert their human families up to 2 days in advance. The most compelling part of these early signs is that they are universal. It is not tied to breed, age, or background. These special abilities are emerging in all types of dogs, from the poodle in a city apartment to the mixed breed on a country farm. All seem to be awakening to a potential that lay dormant within. Most profoundly, this was only the first wave of this great unfolding. What was to follow would be even more extraordinary. Imagine returning home from a draining day and feeling that heavy energy simply melt away the moment your dog greets you. This is not just your imagination at play. It is the manifestation of a quality that our canine companions are rapidly developing: the capacity to act as true purifiers of energy. A biologist who has spent decades exploring unexplained natural phenomena has documented countless cases of dogs displaying abilities that go far beyond what conventional science can currently explain. His studies show that canines across the globe are cultivating an extraordinary sensitivity to perceive and neutralize dissonant energies in people and places. A well-documented account came from a family in England. After moving into a very old house, every member of the family started having troubled sleep and a persistent feeling of unease. Their German shepherd, a calm and steady presence, began a peculiar routine. Each night, he would patrol the house, pausing at very specific points to stand perfectly still for long moments, as if he were attending to something unseen. He performed a kind of ritual. The mother shared. He would breathe deeply in certain corners, whine very softly, and then shake his entire body as if releasing something. After he made his rounds, all of us slept more soundly. The family invited an energy specialist to assess the home. The specialist confirmed there were several pockets of residual, heavy energy in the exact spots where the dog made his nightly pauses. After a few weeks of this canine ritual, both the specialist and the family felt that the home's atmosphere had been completely transformed. Hospitals and care facilities have observed similar phenomena with therapy dogs. Nurses have reported that certain dogs seem to identify rooms with a heavy atmosphere and will not enter until the space has been attended to. When they finally do go in, the patients in those rooms often show a marked improvement, not just emotionally but physically as well. Holistic healers have started to partner with these sensitive dogs to deepen their work. During sessions of energetic clearing, some dogs have shown an ability to absorb the challenging energies being released by clients. They then discharge that energy by yawning, shivering, or running in a circle. One Reiki practitioner has worked for years with her dog during healing sessions. "My dog always lies at the client's feet during the treatment. When we touch upon a deep trauma or emotional blockage, she will physically tremble, as if processing that dense energy for the person. Afterward, she leaves the room, shakes, drinks water, and returns completely refreshed." In homes that have known deep sadness, arguments, or loss, people have reported their dogs starting spontaneous clearing behaviors. They walk through the house with intention, stopping where conflict occurred, and then lie down for long stretches as if absorbing and transmuting the residue. Some dogs have even developed the capacity to neutralize agitated energy through their touch. Reports of people feeling an immediate sense of calm after being touched by a certain dog have grown exponentially. It is not an ordinary touch. It feels like a conscious transfer of peaceful energy. A story of one mixed breed rescue dog perfectly shows this evolution. Whenever a visitor arrived at his home feeling stressed or sad, the dog would approach and simply rest his paw on the person for a few moments. Without fail, every person reported an instant feeling of relief and inner quiet. He seems to have an internal compass for finding those in need of positive energy. His human companion said, "He is never wrong." And what's truly amazing is that after his treatments, people leave looking visibly lighter, renewed. This spiritual evolution is not just about cleansing energy. Many dogs are awakening to their power to protect their homes and families from disharmonious external influences. They can sense when someone with a heavy heart or negative intent is approaching and create a kind of energetic boundary around the home. Every day, videos surface showing dogs doing what seems impossible. A dog appears from nowhere to shield a child from an accident. A pet wakes an entire family just moments before a fire. An animal finds a lost person against all odds. These are not just random events. They are signs of this third wave of awakening intensifying all around us. One account that captured global attention occurred in March of 2023 in a small Brazilian town. An 8-month-old puppy began to bark frantically in the middle of the night, scratching at her owner's bedroom door. Annoyed, the family woke, assuming the puppy needed to go out, but she ran directly to the room of their 6-month-old baby and continued barking. When the parents got to the crib, they discovered the baby was not breathing, her face a pale color. Doctors later confirmed that without the puppy's alert, the child would not have survived. What is so remarkable is that this puppy had never shown such protective behavior before. It was as if her guardian mission awakened in the exact moment of need. Share in the comments below, has your dog ever done something that left you without words? A moment of unexplainable rescue or protection. A director at the Center for the Interaction of Animals and Society at the University of Pennsylvania has been collecting similar accounts for over 5 years. His research contains more than 200 cases of canines saving human lives in ways that our current science cannot fully grasp. What we are observing goes beyond standard protective instinct, he explains. These dogs display a form of pre-cognitive awareness. They sense that something is about to happen before there are any physical clues. It's as if they are connected to a stream of information they shouldn't have access to. The phenomenon grows even more profound when we see dogs saving total strangers. In October of 2023, a German shepherd escaped his yard and ran 3 blocks to a construction site. There, he barked intensely at a group of workers, blocking them from entering a specific section. 20 minutes later, the very spot he barred them from, a heavy concrete structure collapsed. He had never left the yard on his own before. His owner recounted, and there was no logical reason for him to know of the danger. It was as if he was given a specific task in that moment. Before we proceed, I want to invite you to a journey of inner exploration. Our Quantum Thinking Challenge. It is a 21-day program to help you reprogram your mind, elevate your inner frequency, and unlock your true potential. For 3 weeks, you will receive daily practices to transform your perspective and align with the life you wish to create. You can find access in the first pinned comment. Now, just consider this. You are miles from home and simply think about returning, and at that very moment, your dog is already by the door, waiting. Or your companion comes to your side at the precise instant you feel a wave of sadness, even though you have shown no outward sign. This is not imagination. This is a real, intuitive communication that is unfolding between you and your dog. A pioneering biologist conducted the most thorough study on this phenomenon. Over a decade, he gathered over 4,000 cases of dogs that seemed to know their owner's intentions and thoughts from afar. The evidence was so compelling it challenged the very foundations of how we understand animal communication. His most well-known experiment involved a small terrier who always knew the exact moment his owner was heading home. What made this extraordinary was that she worked irregular hours and came home using different methods of travel each day. Cameras in the home proved that the dog would become alert and sit by the window at the precise moment she made the decision to return. Not when she left her workplace, but when the very intention formed in her mind. Wu observed him for 2 full years. The researcher explained, it made no difference if she came back by car, bus, or on foot. It did not matter if her day ended early or late. The dog always knew the exact instant she formed the intention to come home. This heart-to-heart communication isn't just about knowing when you're returning. Dogs are showing an ability to respond to silent, mental requests. One animal trainer in Los Angeles created a protocol to explore this ability. I began by asking owners to simply hold a clear command in their mind while looking at their dogs, she says. The results were astounding. Dogs were responding to silent commands like a sit, come, and stay with a remarkable rate of success. What is most profound about this intuitive link is its ability to stretch across any physical distance. Members of the military have shared accounts of their dogs back home, reacting to dangers they were facing in combat zones thousands of miles away. A veteran of the war in Iraq reports that his dog, who remained in the US during his service, would become deeply agitated and cry on the very same days he was engaged in intense combat. My wife began to log the days my dog was inconsolable, he said. When I returned, and we compared her log with my own mission journal, the dates aligned perfectly. Neuroscientists are now exploring the mechanics behind this intuitive communication. By using simultaneous MRI scans on both dogs and their human companions, they have discovered patterns of brainwave synchronization that suggest a form of non-local communication. We observed the brainwaves of dogs and their owners synchronizing, even when they were in separate, isolated rooms, explains the lead neuroscientist of the study. It's as if there is a shared energetic frequency that allows for the flow of information without a physical channel. This intuitive communication also appears in the realm of dreams. Hundreds of people have reported dreams in which their dogs bring them specific messages or warnings that relate to waking life situations. Have you ever paused to ask why these profound changes in our canine companions are happening right now? Why are dogs all over the world simultaneously awakening to abilities that seemed impossible just a generation ago? The answer is tied to something much larger than just the animals themselves. A planetary shift in awareness that ancient wisdom traditions have long predicted. According to these traditions, our world was destined to enter a new evolutionary cycle in the early part of the 21st century. This period would be defined by a great acceleration of collective human consciousness. This time was described as the Great Awakening, a time when both humans and animals would develop dormant spiritual faculties to navigate the powerful transformations of a planetary transition. As one ancient teaching states, when humanity is tested by its greatest challenges, the four-legged guardians will awaken to guide and protect them through the passage. They will serve as lighthouses of unconditional love during turbulent times. A respected researcher of human consciousness developed a scale that measures the collective energetic frequency of humanity. His studies reveal that since the year 2000, human consciousness has been in a state of unprecedented acceleration. We have been moving from a consciousness rooted in survival toward one of spiritual awakening at a pace that would normally span centuries. We are witnessing a real-time evolution of consciousness, he explains, and animals, especially dogs, are responding to this rise in frequency by developing abilities that connect them more profoundly with the human journey. The timing of this is impossible to dismiss. The first major wave of these special canine abilities began to be widely documented right after 2001, a time when humanity experienced one of its greatest collective shocks in modern history. It was as though our dogs received a cosmic signal to begin their mission of spiritual support. Researchers at an institute that studies the heart's intelligence discovered that major global traumas create measurable electromagnetic waves that impact the planet's entire energy field. These waves don't just influence human behavior, They also trigger evolutionary responses in domesticated animals, particularly those with deep emotional bonds to us. Dogs act as living antennas for these planetary energy shifts, explains a director of research there. They are responding to frequencies that we humans are only now beginning to grasp with our science. The global pandemic of 2020 marked another pivotal moment in this canine awakening. All over the world, animal caregivers documented an explosion of unusual behaviors in dogs during the lockdowns. Animals who had never before shown any special sensitivity began to display profound abilities of emotional detection, energy soothing, and even foreknowledge. It felt as if the intense collective emotion of the pandemic activated something that was sleeping within them, said one behavioral veterinarian in Madrid. In just 2 years, I received more reports of intuitive canine behaviors than in my entire career before that. The phenomenon isn't limited to difficult events. Global celebrations, collective meditations, and mass spiritual movements also create waves of energy that amplify these canine abilities. During major astronomical events like solar eclipses or supermoons, animal research centers record spikes in telepathic activity and healing behaviors in dogs across the planet. Quantum physicists are beginning to theorize that dogs might be tapping into what is called the collective morphogenetic field, a non-local web of information that connects all living consciousness. As humanity elevates its own frequency through crisis, growth, and spiritual seeking, dogs naturally tune into these higher vibrations. Dogs have always been sensitive to subtle fields of energy, explains one quantum physicist and author. But now, as human consciousness itself expands, they are accessing levels of quantum information that allow them to function as bridges between dimensions of our reality. The digital age also plays a vital role. The very technology that instantly links billions of human minds is generating a planetary electromagnetic field that enhances the dog's natural intuitive sensitivity. They are literally feeling the waves of information that flow through our global networks of communication. Spiritual centers around the world report that the animals who live there have started showing unique behaviors that are synchronized with global meditations and collective prayer movements. During events focused on global peace or ecological harmony, these animals spontaneously enter into deep states of calm and meditation. Our dogs have become living barometers of the rise in planetary consciousness. Shares a lama from a Buddhist center in Brazil. When humanity unites in positive intention, our canine friends respond instantly, radiating a peace that magnifies the collective energy. Astrologers and those who study cosmic cycles point out that we are living in what many traditions call the age of transition, a period where planetary consciousness is undergoing a fundamental shift. Dogs, as beings who are naturally attuned to cosmic rhythms, are serving as catalysts and guides for this shift. Dogs are the first to perceive the new frequencies arriving on our planet, explains one astrologer and researcher. They are showing us what the next phase of conscious evolution looks like: more telepathic, more empathetic, more energetically connected. The urgent challenges to our climate and environment have also activated a kind of collective preservation instinct in dogs. On a deep level, they seem to grasp that their spiritual evolution is tied directly to the survival and evolution of human consciousness. Evolutionary biologists suggest we are observing accelerated symbiotic evolution, where two species rapidly evolve in response to extreme environmental pressures, each developing traits that benefit the other's survival. Dogs are evolving to become our conscious partners in navigating the planetary challenges ahead, explains one biologist. They are developing the exact skills we need: intuition, soothing energy, early detection of problems, and emotional support to help us move through this critical period of human history. The canine awakening is not an isolated event. It is a part of a much larger cosmic symphony, preparing both humans and animals for a new era of existence on this planet. Dogs have consciously accepted the role of being guides, healers, and protectors during this essential transition. This is why so many people feel that their dog chose them, a arrived with a special purpose, or is far more than just a pet. Because they truly are. They are our conscious collaborators in one of the greatest transformations planetary consciousness has ever undergone. The ancient wisdom was not just about the future. It was a guide for a reality that is already here. Right now, as you listen to these words, millions of dogs across the world are acting as conscious bridges, energetic healers, and spiritual guardians for humanity. The question is no longer if this will happen. It is how will you engage with this new reality. If a dog shares your home, you must understand that they may be far more than you currently perceive. Recent studies show that a vast majority, over 70%, of companion dogs regularly exhibit at least one special ability that their owners first dismiss as a coincidence. Learning to recognize and nurture these abilities can utterly transform your relationship. It can open channels of communication you never imagined were possible. The first step is to simply observe the patterns in your dog's behavior that go beyond simple instinct. Does your companion appear at your side the moment you feel sad, even when you're in another room? Do they become restless just before an unexpected person arrives? Do they show a unique interest in a certain part of your body that you later realize holds tension or an imbalance? These are not random acts. They are the expressions of spiritual abilities awakening within. One expert in animal communication developed a simple practice for identifying dogs with these heightened senses. Watch to see if your dog responds to your thoughts before you speak. Try silently calling them to you from another room. Notice if they react to your emotions even when you are trying to conceal them. These are clear signs of an active, intuitive connection. To nurture these gifts, create daily moments of conscious connection with your dog. Sit with them in silence for just 10 or 15 minutes. Make gentle eye contact and mentally send them feelings of gratitude and love. Many people who practice this report a dramatic deepening of the silent communication with their animal friends. For those who do not yet have a dog, be open to recognizing when a special companion is trying to enter your life. Dogs with a specific spiritual purpose often choose their human families through remarkable synchronicities. They may appear at the exact moment you need them most, show an instant and undeniable connection, or arrive through a series of events that feel like destiny. Entirely new ways of serving are emerging to support this new reality. People who facilitate communication between humans and animals, trainers of intuitive skills, and therapists who work with human-dog pairs are becoming more and more common. Our technology is also adapting. Applications that monitor the energetic sync between people and their dogs, and platforms that connect owners of dogs with similar abilities, are all changing our understanding of this evolutionary partnership. Your dog may be one of the humble teachers the ancient wisdom spoke of, and you may be one of the souls chosen to take part in this transformation, a change that is redefining what it means to be human on a planet where consciousness is evolving for all beings.